against Sprout. So let's see whether or not they can live up to that name.
Yeah, look, Sprout, they're blooming nicely with that first map win, but Big really looking to come in here and just cut all the limbs off, cut him back down to size. It's going to be the 5 armor start on this CT side here for Big.
Taking a quick look at the GG bet odds. Big still favoured Pilski, so the betters are not getting too perturbed by that first map loss. Faven, he tries to push into a lobby and will get punished by Tizian. Tapson also putting one on the board in the meanwhile, but the trades do come through from Sprout, and the good work continues.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, though, Big throwing them for a bit of a loop. It's just picking up the pace straight in towards this lower bomb site. Xantara's already getting a position quite close to Megaton, where a few CTs are starting to make their way over there.
Yeah, very close angle being held by Xantara's, and if he gets the timing right, maybe a flashbang, but there's none on the CT side. Still manages to get the better of Snatchy. Now Diha will have to challenge. It's a good time teak in the end, but he does manage to find that first frag. 2-on-2 at the moment. Searson posted on the off angle. Diha not prepared for it. Speedy tries to challenge the one-on-one now. As the smoke's down on the bomb, he does tap the defuse. There's no kit available right now for Speedy, but the knife's in hand. Oh no, oh dear, it's all gone wrong, but maybe it's gone right. Kito, I think he's got the job done, and he still gets the knife kill in the end. What madness that was to start off the pistol round here on Nuke.
They're both swinging at each other in the smoke, but Kito has managed to secure that one. Nice T-side pistol round for Big to be taking away. Already starts to put the pressure on Sprout. On that CT side, you really want to be able to get that first round over the line. Just get yourself off to that good start. And Sprout, they're going to try to continue to do that. They're going to force buy into this next round and see if they can make up for their transgressions in the last.
Yeah, fairly common these days. Double scout the setup as well.
Quick flashes and a Molotov on top of Hut. Displaces Diha for the time being. Really trying to get comfortable on the top of Hut here, but Big with a little bit of utility, just trying to throw him off a little bit. How has he spammed Tizzy into 0 through that squeaky door smoke? That's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, this gives Sprout a good chance into the round.
Big have thrown these outside smokes. The double deke from Searson. That's ridiculous, but they're just picking up the pace towards ramp.
Well, so is Sprout. They've dropped down the vent. They've got a couple of players toward the B bomb site right now. Searson looking for the entries. There is a smoke on Decon, which is going to keep that scout at bay for now. And Xantara's also catches Diha, but here comes the retake from Sprout. Faven leading the charge maybe with the deagle. The grenade goes through, doesn't do too much damage. Xantara is quite content to just post on the line and wait. A bit of a bait from Snatching, that works out at least in terms of the 1-for-1, but 1-for-1s will not be enough right now for Sprout. They need more kills. Faven nearly with the deagle, but not a headshot.
Tito just goes and cleans that one up. And Big, nice anti-force to be able to get themselves that second round on the board. Speedy just going to turn tail and try to hold on to this scout for the time being. He's got the armor as well. Big right off to the start that they're looking for. See the engagement there towards Speedy at the moment with that scout. But Big, they choose not to push the issue too much. So now Sprout on this save, looking to try to put together a gun round in the next. And Big off to a fantastic start here. That was filthy.
That is actually disgusting. And to be honest, if Dennis gets one kill with the deagle there, just posted on that line, which he's quite liable to do, the round really just looks so much different. Sprout probably get that bit of extra time that they need to get into the B bomb site. Rotation slows down for Big, and the player advantage is still there for the CT side, but not the case this time. Still a little bit invested in here by Sprout. Some P250s, the armor there for Faven. Scout obviously coming through from the previous. It's a winnable round still for Sprout.
No, it's just a vent drop from Big. Going straight down towards the lower level. They're going to leave Xantara's in the back of lobby, just holding for the CTs to try to crunch lobby, take control over there. Already putting in some good work, but as he has copped a dink, he's going to fall back and try to hold on to this AK in a bit of a safer position, Jordan.
Yeah, this one's not quite looking doable at the moment for Sprout. Bit of a stack from them. Walking around in lobby. Faven's climbing the ladder. That could be interesting if he decides to push all the way up, but Xantara's not watching for now.
They're looking for him, and they do actually find him. And an additional follow-up dink from Faven, who's now got his hands on this AK. This is getting expensive for Big. They're not going to lose the round or anything, but it does cost them a little bit of extra cash dropping a few of these guns.
Certainly does, and not only that, but Faven's allowed to take the AK through to the next round, which will be beneficial for the CT economy. Always nice to have an AK just in general, so I don't think Sprout will be complaining about that one too much. They really didn't put much into the round, but they've come out of it with a little bit.
Keen to see if Big's going to do anything in particular with the MAC-10, and they do. They chuck it in the bin where it belongs for this first gun round. Sprout getting that singular AWP. You have pretty good money on Snatchy still, as they've held on to that extra rifle. I think Faven must have dropped him the AWP. Big, pretty good money control heading into this first gun round. And they're just taking things a little slower here, Jordan. Grouped up towards that outer smoke, potentially looking for a bit of an annex split in towards upper. He's out in the open right now.
There's going to have to be another Mirage-esque performance from Snatchy with the AWP. He's already dropped Keto, who was actually carrying the bomb. So Big are going to have to commit to the A bomb site to at the very least retrieve the bomb, which has been dropped there. Tizian, not quite spotted yet by Snatchy. Now dangerous angle for Snatchy to be jumping up on. And the scope sound gives away his position. Tizian will punish. 3 players remain for Sprout, but Tizian is absolutely destroying them at the moment. He's walked all over the A bomb site, and he might even get one more as Dennis creeps down the ladder. Okay, won't quite be able to hold on for that kill. Still numbers advantage, though, for Big here, and a lot of map control for them as well.
Cheeky from Dennis. Finds the kill while he's half on the ladder. Now Big just going to reposition towards that lower side, but Dennis is already down there. A bit of an off angle towards the front of Megaton here.
Maybe he can make the difference. That's a good headshot. There goes Searson, and he can back away, play another angle, try to bide some time.
Oh.
Dennis! He nearly gets a 3-man spray down. Xantaras has his suspicions, though, that there's someone coming behind. It won't matter, though. The wrong angle is checked, and Faven wins the round for Sprout. They get their first on the board. It's a costly round for Sprout, but a round nonetheless.
Absolutely right. Tizian with 6.8, though, can drop an AK over to one of his teammates. Big will probably have to be a little bit lighter on the utility heading into this next round if they do want to invest. But with only one player surviving for Sprout, the reset potential is definitely there. This is going to be an important round. Sprout desperately need if they want to stop Big from running away with this game on the T side of Nuke here.
Yeah. It's the danger of the CT side, isn't it? You can win one round, but if you only win with one player alive, it continues to keep you in a bit of a hole.
And again, Big looking like they're just going to keep things simple once again. Looks like they're trying to get ready for this annex split. Searson with the utility ready on that lobby roof. And in comes the split.
Smokes go down on the bomb site. Dennis, nice spray. Eventually gains control of it again. It's a 1-for-1, but there's still a player on the bomb site. I'm not sure the Big are aware of it just yet. They've cleared out Diha up on rafters. Snatchy holding onto the position now as well. But Big have elected for the smarter option, and that's to go down to the B bomb site. There's no one there at all. And it's going to prompt Sprout into a retake, which they don't really have a fun time of. No defuse kit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The kits are going to be the killer here. Snatchy going down means that Faven, I don't think he's going to be keen to be going for this one. Just holding on to that AK once again. It's been passed down many a round at this point. And Big firmly in control of this half after securing that gun round. Going up 4-1. They break the CT economy. Can potentially start to snowball this lead. And that's very, very worrying for Sprout, because you have to remember, they were front running quite a bit in that initial map.
Yeah.
They were playing with confidence. But can they play with that same level of confidence, that same level of consistent individual performance across the board on a map that they're less comfortable on when they don't have as strong a start?
And when they don't have as good of a weaponry buy as well. Sprout will have to go back onto an eco here, the exception being obviously Faven. 4-1 for Big, and we know they're a very solid T-sided team on Nuke. So it's no surprises to see them getting off the mark pretty nicely.
Not much of an investment from Sprout, really. He has upgraded to a Deagle, got a P250, but most of the firepower firmly in the hands of Faven with that AK. And it's a very concise cleanup, at least on the pistoling players for Big towards outside here.
Yeah, Xantara's really having a ball so far on Nuke. 8-4. Faven hiding away, really. It feels like cowering now up on the rafters because he's lost his entire team. Sprout was going to get much done in this round. It needed to be Faven probably early in the round. But Big are still filtering in his direction. Dennis has the crossfire. He's going to give away his position. Faven gets a couple, but wooden spoon prize really when Big have the economy booming at the moment.
Sprout, again, emptying the bank account. Snatchy has to go down to no utility to be able to get his hands on that AWP. And Big, they've dropped a couple of guns here or there. Investing that AWP as well means that their money on 2 of their players isn't fantastic. So it's not outside the realm of the possibilities that Sprout can start to challenge this economy and try to close this round gap on the CT side. But it needs to start sooner rather than later. You don't want to be seeing them go down 7-8-1. They've already burned through a hell of a lot of their utility in the early round here, Jordan. Very little grenades left, whereas Big, 2 nades thrown off the bat. Now they're going to start throwing some utility from that lobby roof. Try to make these uppers players a little bit more uncomfortable while Searson waits for this smoke to dissipate.
Yeah, early on in the round, Big really does enjoy putting that utility into the A bomb site and making Sprout sweat.
They're just trying to draw out the pushes, the aggression, trying to draw out the utility usage from the CT side as well. It's a nice spam, I think, straight through the door from Dennis. And now Big start to throw that left side wall of smoke across outside.
Snatchy's in a good spot to shut down anything on outer. Tabson sort of given away his position with that molly, but does tick a couple of times onto Snatchy and alerts Tabson of the presence of a player there. It's a big stack in Annex as well. Sprout are going to go a little bit walkabout. Dennis actually gets the better of Tabson. That's his second frag for the round. And now Big, with no map control, are going to have to push into a ramp room. Dehi's there and waiting. 4 on 2. I think they'll get into the B side, but oh, maybe not. The rotation's already come down from Sprout. Snatchy, very nice shot connected. And Dennis makes it look easy coming out from Decon. That's exactly the kind of round that Sprout needed to get themselves back into this half, but it's one of many.
Yeah, they're definitely having their troubles here on Nuke. You could even tell from the read there from Sprout. That's a nice initial frag on the aggression for Dennis, but you can see, look, there's not 2 players in Annex in a 5-on-4 for no reason. They're well aware of what Big likes to do, trying to sneak through those outer smokes, trying to narrow down the possibilities of how does Big overcome this man disadvantage and get back into the round. Surely they need to try for something cheeky.
Attack pause.
They're ready for it.
As well from Big.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice round for Sprout to be winning. Not only did they get that gun round across the line, but they did it with 4 players surviving. Which means that their money's going to start to build a little bit. Not too much just yet.
Yeah, it's not really a lifeline yet, is it? Need a bit more of that from Sprout.
As for Big, though, Searson, his AWP no utility, they've had to go down to 2 pistols. So definitely not the most ideal buy for Big. And if they lose here, they're going to be broke. And that's the window for Sprout to secure this round and close this round gap and start to trade back and forth with Big. But I'm not sure if that's necessarily going to be enough unless Sprout are as proficient as Big are on their T side.
Snatchy keeping an eye on Silo for the moment. Needs to be a little bit more aware of what's happening on the ground because that's where Big is coming from. Timing is really just going to be key here for Snatchy. If he gets it wrong, he gets his head blasted off. Mollies go flying in, and he does peek. Perfectly timed from Snatchy again. Putting in the hard yards for Sprout.
So much confidence. 3 peeking. Santara's going to punish him for that, and now Big with the man advantage. A lot of control of outside. They spam Dennis through that smoke. How is this round starting to fall apart from Sprout?
Well, that's a good way of putting it. It really did just sort of disappear for Sprout, didn't it? Snatchy gets the opening frag, but see Dennis and Speedy fall. Diha, though, on the rotate behind. At least manages to drag one back. It was a 4-on-2 now, a 3-on-2. Sprout, I mean, it's still not the position that they want to be in, and this is going to be so disastrous if they do drop this round, which, for all expectations, they should from here, because their money's just going to be back to square one just when Sprout wins a round. Seems like every time Big bounces back with the next, and I'm thinking, well,
the thing is, Jordan,
can't ever get rolling on the CT side.
the thing is, though, they still have that loss bonus built up quite a bit. They're holding on to these 2 guns, so they're going to be able to put together another gun round here. And Big only surviving with 3 of these players. Not the worst situation in the world. Remember, they only came into this round, Big, with 3 guns here. So in a similar position in terms of the economy moving forward here for Big, but it's about that round count, right? Already up 6 and 2 on that T side. And that's not unexpected for Big, but what that forces Sprout to do is that if they play a close half here, they have to be very proficient to try to grind this game out on their own T side. And when it's a weaker map for you in the pool, you know, not as good as that Mirage that we saw them come out of the gates flying in this series, that might be a little bit more difficult to be that good on that T side up against Big.
Yeah, I agree. Historically, they have looked a bit more comfortable on the CT side. Better start this time for Speedy as Big tries to speed things up into the A-bomb side, but they're very quickly kept at bay. I won't go so far as to say it's a brick wall on the A side from Sprout, because it hasn't been, but they've certainly had their moments, and Diha almost had another. Nearly a double kill. Sandaras, though, is absolutely destroying Sprout. 12 and 6. And he continues his rampage right down into the B bomb site. Gets the smoke on a decon. Need to be aware of Snatchy.
It is just Santaras here, though.
It's interesting that he breaks the window. Snatchy could go a bit more aggressive.
Not sure he's interested at the moment.
Definitely doesn't look like it.
It's a bit of a standoff here towards uppers. But Tizian seems like he's well switched on to that. A couple of awkward duels going either which way, but Big. They've got that molly on Heaven. They're putting the bomb down. I'd say they're feeling pretty comfortable in this 2-on-2.
Well, I mean, yeah, again, it's not the first time there's been a 2-on-2, and every other time, Sprout have looked to save. Snatchy can't get out for free this time. Speedy, it's kind of getting to the point where you have to go for these retakes, and it's not a very fun situation for him, but he's going to elect to grab the AWP and back away. And another sort of bit of pill to swallow, really, for Sprout. Start the round off pretty decently. In the mid-round, Big, find the picks, rotate better, down into the B-bomb site once the bomb's planted. Sprout don't look like they've been able to get a solid retake going on Nuke.
Yeah. That round was for Santaras, man. Rolls into ramp room, finds a couple of those openers. The rest are Big, they're just chilling in the lobby. They're not doing anything crazy, they're waiting for the pushes. Whereas Santaras is just taking, with Keto, that ramp control. Pretty good performance from Big. And that's why I say they're a little bit more comfortable on this map. Not because Sprout's terrible at this map or anything, but it's just the level of competition compared to Sprout that Big have faced on this map that gives me so much more confidence in them. It's one of their best against some of the best teams in the world, whereas Sprout, they're playing a little weaker competition. They're playing some of those, you know, tier 2 teams, tier 3 teams like Namiga, in Europe.
It's a rough one for Speedy. Scout versus AWP. CSM looking solid here on Nuke. And scoreline certainly reinforcing the storyline that you're presenting, Pilski. Big are off to a good start on their T side, and it seems like they're going to be able to roll that onto not just a good start, but a really good map. Every time Sprout kind of gets into a position where they look like they might be able to turn the half around, Big has a response for it. And Sprout haven't really even been able to find their feet, economically speaking, or in any of the rounds, really. So Big are just starting to turn this one into a bit more of a monstrous first half. Santaras, though, he's the danger man. He's out of the picture on this map. So I wonder if there's something else to be said here for Sprout in the round, particularly if Diha wins that. That's the bomb dropped. 34 seconds. They're going to have to retrieve it, Pilski. He does just get a little bit sleepy and looks down into the A bomb site. There's the 2 critical picks that almost always seem to come for Big in those high pressure moments. If Sprout gets 1 or 2, turns the round back on its head. But Big, in the end, it looks like it's an easy round, but it was anything but.
On Mirage, man, Sprout would have had a couple more of those timings. The trades would have been much more snappy from Sprout, playing off of each other a little bit better. On Nuke, they're still hitting shots. You can still see that quite sharp, but they're not creating as many opportunities, and they're not, you know, finding some of those gaps that Big are finding here on Nuke. Santaras is just walking out ramp. You know, you have Tabson and Tizian cracking things open in those 3-on-3s towards upper, punishing the pushes from time to time. Just much better awareness moving around the map for Big. Much more switched on this T side. Away. Sprout already in a rough position, Jordan. Down 8-2. The best that they can try to hope for is to have a massive performance towards the end of this CT half and try to scrape away a 7-round lead. But even then, that still forces Sprout, like I said, to be very proficient on this T side to try to put Big away on their own CT side. So even at the point we're at now, the best possible outcome for Sprout on this CT side of winning 5 in a row, I still wouldn't back them to win the map.
Exactly. It gets harder and harder from here for Sprout. Not that it wasn't already difficult, as you can quite see. Tara's, don't think he was actually spotted in the end by Speedy. But it's a double orb. It's a change up from Sprout. And again, Faven starts well. That's the weirdest thing about this map for me so far, is that it's not been like Sprout has just been decimated from the start of the round. It's been the mid-rounds. That's a nice kill for Snatchy. Probably should have been finished off by Tizian there. But that's a weird one. Let's just put that behind us, Pilsky. That round, I don't know about. But Sprout have been getting opening picks fairly often. But they haven't been able to convert those into rounds as much as you'd really like to see.
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird round.
That was a very weird round.
But look, that's on that best case scenario sort of train, right? They start off that gun round, they win with 5 alive, a couple of awkward timings and awkward aim duels going the way of Sprout. Also, like you said, finding those openings very, very early on in the piece. But Big, still up 8-3, can probably put together a buy in this round if they decide to. It would be a little light on the util, as you can see, and Xantares has to go down to that Tech 9. That's just something Snatchy should get away with.
No.
All right. So Big, little limited on the util this time. Going to invest a lot of that util early on these outside wall of smokes, even a Molotov to try to make sure that smoke is in the perfect position. 4 of them committing down towards lower. Where's the rotations from Sprout? The first man in towards lower is Spitty, and he's on the AWP, but I'm not sure he's made enough ground here, only just now making it into windows.
He flashed off the line as well, now gives away his position. They know there's someone in control. He's walked out onto the B site. Big's already there.
They're not ready for this pacing set by Big. The rotations weren't fast enough, and just like that, the entire team
Wow.
just dead for Sprout, and that is the problem. When you're not comfortable enough on that CT side of Nuke, you're not gathering that info, you could just tell they weren't ready for the pace that Big set in that round.
And again, another statement from Big. 1 round picked up by Sprout. Weird, kind of unconventional round, to be fair. But Big responds straight away. Just when you're like, oh, well, you know, Sprout, they won a round. If they can put a couple here together, maybe they can break the Big economy. No longer.
And it's not with anything crazy either. That's a pretty simple tactic from Big. Wall of smoke in towards outers. But it's a great sort of strat to be throwing up against that double orb. A little less mobile for Sprout to just be zipping around the map and rotating here, there, and everywhere. And it's just done fantastically there. They've caught Sprout off guard. First player rotating in towards that lower site is with that AWP, and Tizian's doing a fantastic job yet again. Not only just in that round when they go towards lower of lurking towards that ramp room, towards radio, but also in some of those awkward 3-on-3s in the earlier gun rounds. The man's chilling in lobby. Again, early utility. It seems like Big wants to hit a timing in towards upper.
So far, it's Speedy, really, that's hitting everything. The AWP is going well for him. He's seen Tabson, tries to shotgun AWP him through the vent. And somehow Tabson gets out of there alive. I'm not sure how that's happened. So far, so good, though, for Sprout.
Yeah, the main man I got my eye on, though, is Xantares on top of Annex in a pretty key position. If the CTs can get a little bit loose, he can probably punish them. And now you start to see the shift from Big. They're making their way towards ramp room, causing a lot of noise here. So Sprout, they have to choose how to respond. At the moment, they're just sitting tight. 2 in that lower site. Snatchy on the off angle with the AWP. Finds a nice angle onto Keto. I think Sprout still firmly in control.
Oh, that's painful for Xantares, but he does punish Dika for it. Grenade doesn't quite land. Now Xantares prepared perhaps for Faven to come wrapping out of Annex. Won't land the shot this time. Tabson in a 1-on-3. Bit more backwards and forwards at the end of the half here between Big and Sprout. But because Big had such a run at the start of the half, Sprout are really just playing catch up. And they can never really catch up. That's the unfortunate situation.
No.
Not till the second half, at least.
I mean, they're a little bit too far behind at this point, I think, to be taking Nuke out. But happy to be proven wrong. As for Big, that's a great round for Sprout to be winning. That puts Big in a really awkward situation in terms of the cash. A couple of their players sitting around that 1.8k sort of mark.
Yeah.
They got to choose, do they get 2 AKs and armor as well as some pistols and invest in this round? Do they take a save? They're going for a bit of a mix. Hero AK on Xantares, upgraded pistol or 2, not a bad approach. Pearson's just surfed across outside, and he's going to find the timing onto Snatchy, actually, but that must have been a ridiculous reaction over there towards Warehouse.
Well, we have to keep an eye on what's happening here in ramp, because Diha has quite a few players headed in his direction. Tabson, low on HP, but Xantares, the hero AK. Well, he has to be the hero here, and maybe he can just make it happen. Brings it to a 1-on-2.
It's going to slow things down here, actually. Both of the CTs in pretty solid positions, one towards window, one towards back of lobby. This is actually the perfect play here for Xantares. Going towards ladder base. He's going to be able to find an empty upper bomb site.
Looking for the ace, Pilski. He's the only one that purchased anything into this round for Big.
What's the play here? Where does he plant? It's a safe plant. He's got a smoke that he can drop and try to play around. Doesn't hold the left click for long enough, actually. That's going to give the CTs a little bit more time to get a little closer.
He can't get off the site now. Dennis would have heard him jumping up and down. Should know exactly where he is. It's going to come down to crisp aim from Xantares, looking for the 1-on-1 against Fave, and he's got it. No way. It's doable, but not expecting Dennis on his right. Oh, I so wanted that to happen.
But just look at the CT money, Jordan. They don't have a whole lot of cash in the bank, and even that economic damage on top of the bomb plant gives Big a much better buy than Sprout have access to. 3.5 across the board on 3 of their players is definitely not ideal, and Big, they can have a buy here with all the bells and whistles. And that's just all down to Xantares getting that 4K. Yes, he doesn't secure the clutch, but that has so much impact here.
$17 and $11 for Xantares. Great first half. And we'll see if Big can get themselves to double digits. Yeah, distinct lack of utility on that CT side. So Sprout are going to try and throw a bit of a curveball. They've got an extra player over toward Outer this time. It's Speedy lurking around the red crate, and he's caught Tabs, and Smoke does at least land for Big, but they're not going to be able to do anything with it.
Man advantage for Sprout. Big at the moment, just 2 towards this annex area, 2 towards upper. I think they're just going to try and hit a timing here.
Might just work out for them. Xantares doesn't seem to be able to do anything wrong at the moment. Oh, man. He gets Dennis behind the vent as well. It's unbelievable how well this is working for Big. 2-on-1. And the trades are so damn good from Big. Searson does just fall off the line. Diha gets the timing. At least he's got a chance now for this 1-on-2. And almost a must-win round for Sprout to give them the chance in the second half. He's gotten Tizian for free. Spam goes through the wall. He's thrown away his M4, Pilski.
He's got it.
He's got the AK, but he didn't pick it up in time. Big. They're going to get double digits in the first half. 10-5 the scoreline, and Sprout need to salvage heading into the second.
I feel alive, now I'm feeling like up to the fine, will it stand the test of time? Right now I need a sign. Tell me if it's over, come a little closer. We should take our time to think this damn thing over. Should we grow closer? Should this be over? My heart for your mind, probably we should start over. Tell me if it's over, am I your lover? Are we going solo? Or is it polo? Her face is saying don't go. I'm acting like I don't know. Whisper my name, say what you want, show me your thoughts. I do the same. My brother in neck while I slowly caress. Feelings in gray, it's still the same. Tell me if it's over, come a little closer. We should take our time to think this damn thing over. Should we grow closer? Should this be over? My heart for your mind, probably we should start over. Tell me if it's over, am I your lover? Are we going solo? Or is it polo? Her face is saying don't go. I'm acting like I don't know. Tell me if it's over, come a little closer. We should take our time to think this damn thing over. Should we go closer? Should this be over?
Been a good response from Big. They grab double digits heading into the second half, and the odds favour them even more now. Pilski, who could be surprised at this point? Big, the best team in the world. They did drop map number 1, but they won't be dropping map number 2. At least it doesn't look like it at the moment. Pissed around, hugely important here for Sprout.
Yeah, I'm worried for Sprout. Might be a little bit too far behind already, but very quickly into this upper bomb site. And they get the trades.
Whoa.
That doesn't even look like it. A complete cleanup from the CT side. And again, Keto showing prowess with those dualies.
Yeah, seen it before, seeing it again. Keto, double kill for him. Some people say you only need 1 gun, but he says, screw that. I'll take 2, please.
Hey man, he aced with it the other day
I'm not complaining.
in that DreamHack Grand Final.
Yeah, good pistol round to win though for Big. Does make this map just a little bit easier. You know, the runway sort of shapes up nicely. I guess there's a light at the end of the tunnel now.
What a spot for them as well, over towards those Tetris boxes next to the hut. You just run and gun around, take different angles. It's a perfect spot to be taking dualies into it. Straight into that upper rush. It works out a treat.
Not a single piece of utility invested in here by Sprout, so this one should be pretty free for Big. HENA does land on top of Speedy, making it even easier. And so far, not too much damage being done to Big. They won't lose a gun here by the looks of things. Searson gets low, but he's okay. And there goes something flying out of the map. I don't know what it was.
It was a Glock.
Searson was having a look at it. He was like, oh, maybe I wanted that.
Put birds on this map. Is that new?
I have no idea. Personally, not much of a bird watcher myself.
No. I mean, as we get deeper into these matches, Jordan, I think as each of us take our break, we'll probably hear a couple of birds, maybe some kookaburras.
Yep.
Once we get into the early hours of the morning.
Could you give us your best kookaburra impression for all the international fans that don't know what a kookaburra is?
Just Google it. Google's your best friend nowadays.
Well, just Google kookaburra sound and pretend like the cool caster from Australia tried to make that noise.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm pretty sure chat would love that noise because it makes a kek sound. And chat loves kek. Either way. Sprout, bit of a slower approach this time around. Just chilling in the lobby, waiting to hit this sharp timing into upper. Now the utility's starting to fly in here, Jordan.
Yeah, Zantara's locking down ramp at the moment, but he's probably not going to have too much to do until this rotation comes in from Sprout already. One frag. Tizian flashed, standing inside of a molly, but Zantara's, he's going to challenge, and he's been doing good work so far today. It's a 2 for 2. All things considered, Sprout have got the B bomb site, so they might not be too disappointed, but Quito finds himself involved in the round as well.
They're playing a good trade game until they get down into this 3-on-3. Another kill going the way of Big, and Tabson cheeky to peek out on that timing. Now Faven must recover the bomb. He's going to try and look for a fight versus Quito, and he gets it. Now scrambling up into that upper bomb site, into a one-on-one. He can put this bomb down and get himself in a very nice post plant.
Definitely makes it winnable. It's going to be an open plan from him as well, so he really could go anywhere at this point. Tabson's working his way up through Secret. That actually might catch Faven off guard. No, he's going to watch for it. He might have heard him. Great shot.
I don't think he heard him there, actually. You know, those footsteps pretty far away, but it's just good crosshair placement and a very nice raw adjustment from Faven. Gets him through that round. Things got messy. They were playing an excellent trade game, and I was worried when Big got that one key kill towards lobby. But good recovery from Faven. Isolates that duel versus Quito, then puts himself in a great post plant, and just good crosshair placement and good job anticipating where Tabson can and can't be.
Still some fight left in Sprout, which is good to see. Till's going down on outer. That's courtesy of Big, but not much presence there yet from Sprout. They're more content to just set themselves up in lobby. Searson's caught Diha.
Such an important round for both teams. We're a little lighter on cash, but Big very much getting the best of them for the time being. 2 kills in their favor. Now Sprout must try and recover the round from a 3-on-5.
Important duel for Quito to win, even though he's only got it for Master 19 HP. He's still a gun in the game. Tabson chucks an orb down to him, so that's an upgrade. And he spots out Speedy, walking along outer, but not quick enough on the reaction.
Into a 1-on-3 bomb over there towards the T-spawn truck. So Speedy's got his work cut out for him. He has to retrieve the bomb and find all 3 frags in 50 seconds. Definitely not an easy task. Don't even know if he's intending to go for it at this point, to be honest. And Big, that's a critical round to be winning.
Yeah, it's just, it feels like a repeat of the first half. Sprout will get themselves around. Maybe it's a bit of a streaky round, but time and time again, Big is able to answer with the more consistent plays and grab the following round, 13-6.
3 alive for Big.
One
Put themselves up to 13-6. Yes, Sprout have to take the single save here. They can invest in a couple of pistols, maybe some key pieces of utility, try to go for a bit of event drop as they've got nice forward spawn. The key round 1 there for Big, though. They're up 13-6, and this is what I was talking about, Jordan. Right from the get-go, Big was up 7-2, 8-2 on that T side. I feel like from that point, Sprout was already too far behind.
Yeah, I agree.
The way they're looking on this T side.
Dika certainly doing his best at the moment, trying to lead from the front.
Look, I think Sprout, to be honest, Jordan, are playing... I know this sounds stupid to say, but they're playing just as good individually as the last game, but they're just not as proficient at the map, and they're not as switched
The
on.
timings are certainly favouring Big a lot more.
Exactly. Every XVX, Big is just finding these good angles, good timings, exactly like you said.
Double nade for Dennis and Speedy, but there's only so much you can really write home about with that one.
Alligator.
Love it.
MC was here to see this.
Snap, snap.
Oh well. Sprout just holding on to that double HE nade. Not invested much into this round. They tried to double nade on top of Hut, but it really didn't hit Quito very much because he wasn't playing on top of the box or above squeaky door.
Well, sooner or later, Sprout is going to have to commit to something here. A few D-Eagles in hand. Maybe looking for a pick early on in the round, but unlikely to find it. Big are not really peeking a whole lot. Tabson catches Dennis. Xantares is sitting on an off angle.
It's cute to be able to peek that headshot line.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Sprouts trying. They're doing what they can.
Love watching Xantaras play. The man cannot sit still. Good trade. Glock player sacrificing his life. Oh, Faven, no way your arms are long enough for that, mate.
See how much more damage he can do here. One onto Keto, down to 2 HP. The Alligator. It's a swing and a miss really there for Keto, but in the end, 14 is up for Big, and they'll be pretty happy with the progression so far on the CT side.
Sprout can put a buy on the board here, and they can buy AWP for Snatchy, and he trades an AK back. And to be honest, it's not the worst thing in the world for your AWP player to be the one lacking the util. But in general, the util's quite poor here for Sprout. So backs against the wall down 14 and 6. They're kind of pigeonholed into a couple of strats with the limited flashbangs that they do have. Maybe try to create some openings here for Snatchy to find something with that AWP. Seems like Snatchy trying to pick towards ramp room. That's where Xantaras is at. It's actually a bit of a walkout ramp room from Sprout. Oh, great shot from Tabson off the back of that flash. That's the man advantage for Big, and that puts even more pressure on Sprout. It's just compounding at this point.
Snatchy's maybe going to try and walk in through Hut here with the AWP, just try to find an entry. Contact play for Sprout.
They don't have anything left, Jordan. They've got 4 grenades between 4 players.
The players in ramp room now as well for Big. Doesn't look like they're going to go for anything too over-aggressive. The re-smoke to lobby. Snatchy continues to start walking his way toward the A-bomb site. But
Going to try and get around to Annex. Searson's on this line here, I think, though. Should be a freebie for him.
oh, he's missed it. Speedy. Pop's given a jump, dodges the bullet. Searson can slowly work his way forward and doesn't quite get the timing right. He's actually deleted from the server by Faven. It's gone wrong here for Big. They had the right idea, but the execution wasn't quite on point, and Sprout have essentially been gifted the A-bomb site. Now Tabson and Xantaras to try and salvage. 1 on 4 for Xantaras. He turns around, but it's Wallbang City, and this goes the way of Snatchy. 14-7, and Sprout salvage another.
There's no way they should have had that round in any bloody universe. Searson just cakes 2 shots there, back to back. Very uncharacteristic.
Look, I'm
and
a big
Sprout,
fan of
and
Cake,
Sprout
so.
with 55 seconds, no map control, 4 grenades amongst 4 players. Somehow pull off the most obvious Annex split to uppers off the back of Big whiffing some massive shots.
It happens. Moving straight on past it. I don't think Big is too concerned at the moment. They've still got a lot of rounds to play with. Very minor investment into this one from the CT side, and you probably see this also slipping over to Sprout.
Keto's spent quite a lot compared to the rest of his team this round, so I'm keen to see if Big is going to take a double save or whether perhaps he goes down to that XM yet again. And Sprout looked cool. They got that last gun round. They've forced the CTs on an eco, but it does feel like a foregone conclusion at this point that Big should pick up this map.
Indeed. Inferno, map number 3 though. And that's another interesting one. Back towards the middle of the map pool, and for both teams it sort of sits within the middle area of their map pools as well.
Yeah, they're both, you know, pretty much even on the map. Big's 5 and 5, Sprout's 8 and 7. But again, this is the same thing that I was saying before about Nuke. It's a different level of competition. Sprout's playing against, you know,
The best in the world.
well, Big's playing against the best in the world.
Yes.
Sprout's playing against the
not best in the world.
not best in the world, yeah. Tier 2, 3 NA teams and FPL and such. EU teams, rather. Either way, Sprout gets them through that T-side round. And look, they were gifted that last gun round. They've gotten through that anti-eco unscathed, and Big still a little light on cash, looking like they're going to be taking a second save. So Sprout, this is a bit of a blessing. They're given basically 3 rounds in a row to get 9 rounds. And this is where I'm curious to see if what I was talking about is going to come to fruition. Because this is Sprout given an opportunity to show their proficiency on this T side and actually try to grind their way back into this game. They've been given a lifeline by Big. Can they take advantage of it? Or is Big just going to shut this down and push it through to Inferno?
It's a very reserved round so far from Sprout. Dennis is playing peekaboo on outer, bouncing up and down. That's certainly setting something up.
You got to give props to Sprout though. Like they're playing pretty good game of CS here. Took out Mirage. Even on Nuke, individually they're looking pretty switched on. Which up against one of the better teams in the world here in Cologne is exactly what they would have wanted to be showing. Look, they're not probably expecting to be winning these series. But if they're showing that they're a solid team at the moment, I think that's good in and of itself. And I mean, I don't know about you, Jordan, but I've definitely been impressed by Sprout today.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of hard to not be impressed, if that makes sense. You know, you go in with not that many expectations, and they've already taken a map off of the best team in the world. So,
yeah,
how can you say you're not?
And just the way that the individuals are trying to navigate their way around the map, find those openings, playing with confidence, and just looking pretty sharp individually. Particularly the Polish players, because I got a bit of a soft spot in my heart for the Polish scene.
Bit of caster bias going on here.
Yeah, being a Polish guy myself, and it's been a bit quiet lately. There hasn't been a whole lot to be excited about. Same thing with this map, really, as we, again, finally head into another gun round. Sprout does not make it down that vent. They were trying to blow open Squeaky, but been denied by that utility initially. But that has at least pulled the rotation from Big. Tabson's down in lower. That spreads Big a little bit thinner. But can Sprout find those gaps and exploit those openings now that they've caused that initial rotation?
Well, again, a little bit more reserved from Sprout, slowing things down in the mid-round. Trying to maybe better that utility out from Big. There is a little bit being invested, but still plenty in the back pocket. Faven, however, does find the opening pick. That's Tizian down early on in the piece. And another opportunity, maybe not on a silver platter here for Sprout. But there is something.
They're working a lot more for this round. Pearson's trying to get Big back into it. Finds that pick towards Hut. Well aware that was the bomb. Dennis on outside. A good pick on Tabson, punishing him from coming up secret. And Dennis is actually starting to wrap into Annex now. Searson's still doing good work for Big, though.
This could be a big play from Xantares if he pushes. Snatchy and Dika, though, they've got a couple of picks. It's just Xantares, and it's going to have to be a big play from him. How many times does he have to get put into a clutch situation? 2v1 this time. Much more doable than some of the 4-on-1s that he's had earlier. 3v1 rather. Snatchy might have turned it into a 2v1 with a mistake there, but he gets the job done. 10-14. Sprout continue to march forward.
And look, I asked the question, Jordan. Can Sprout punish those rotations from Big? And that's what you saw in that round. A slower paced round where they're sitting around in towards lobby. Faven's going to find that opening and Searson's going to peg a few back. But the key frag really was Dennis on outside, picking Tabson coming up secret. And that just puts even more pressure on Big. And that's where Sprout, they find that advantage and they just trade down material essentially when they've got the advantage. They trade players back and forth, very, very snappy on the trades, sticking together, and they grind that round down. But that's the first of many that they'll need. Again, now they're moving into a...
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Dennis has twisted his ankle. He's going to have to go on a stretcher home at this point.
I don't know if that's more of a broken leg than a twisted ankle, you know, when you think about it in the context of he's lost nearly 50% of his HP.
Look, honestly, Jordan, he didn't make much of a big deal about it. Just a little grunt.
Walk it off.
Oh, both of my legs and probably my pelvis.
It's like that, what's that movie where the guy's like the knight? Like, gets all of his arms chopped off and his legs chopped off. Is that a Knight's Tale? I can't remember. He's like,
sure. Is that like drawn and quartered?
I'll bite your legs off. Do you remember that?
No.
Someone knows it.
Someone in chat knows what we're talking about. Wow. A lot of pressure being put on by these pistols, but Sprout...
Monty Python.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Duh. Idiot caster.
Gotta be careful, Sprout. 38 seconds. Oh, they're navigating their way through these pistols just fine for the time being. Still two Deagle light armor players in upper, and I think that's actually where Sprout are heading. But Faven, I think, is going to flank in through heaven, so that should probably secure things for Sprout here. And it does. Actually, it's the 2 players from Annex, but they had that insurance policy if they needed it, Jordan, and 3 players surviving Sprout. They're doing good work here. They've been given an opportunity by Big, but it's going to take a couple more gun rounds in a row. Like, they're going to still have to keep continuing on this trend forward. But look, they were kind of getting pummeled in this game. Even if they don't secure this map win, heading into Inferno, just getting rolling on a couple more rounds in a row on this T side is going to help them out. Going to help them get that momentum going. The net
This
positive
is
for
interesting.
Sprout.
Xantara's pushing. Hasn't really done too much of this from ramp room just yet. And Sprout don't have anyone watching for it at the moment. They even needs another good entry into A. That's been largely part of the reason why Sprout have been having success these later rounds on the T side. They've been coming up big. Good flashes coming through, and it's actually allowed Sprout down the vent. They've got 3 players down there.
There's
and
no
no
one.
one from Big at the B bomb site.
They've got full control down here. There's no rotations in from Big, and now you see the utility starting to be invested on Megaton. That just shuts the CTs out of the site here, Jordan. Bomb goes down open. Snatchy's found Searson. This round's going to start to get messy. These duels towards lobby are going to be so important.
Oh, no. You don't want to be getting caught like that. Brings it back to a 4-on-3. Dennis, Speedy, and Deca. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but Dennis on the off angle. Xantara is making a lot of noise. This should be routine, and it is. Dennis gets the job done. Time ticking away. He's baiting a lot as well. Big. They need to get on that defuse. Do they have a smoke here? They don't. This molly could be critical. Yes, actually, there is a smoke down. Does it matter? Tizian, he's copping some bullets. He's okay. In the end, Sprout have won the round. 12-14. Messy, messy. But they get over the line again, Pilskin. I don't want to say the C word, but at what point do we start getting excited? Is it when it hits 16 for Sprout?
I'm already excited. I know it doesn't sound like it. I'm appreciative of this T side. I like the way that they're pushing and pulling the rotations, man. And that was cheeky. You could see Sprout, they were just layering that utility into upper, trying to force the counter action, the push from Big. And when it never came out, they went for plan B or plan C. Straight down vent into lower. And then they just use that utility on Megaton to make sure the CTs have a tough time getting back into the round, at least from that ramp rotation. They get the bomb down, and when things start to get messy, they secure it.
It's pretty crazy when you look at the scoreboard and you see what's there for Sprout. You think, well, it doesn't look that great, does it?
Oh, no, it's just, again, similar to Mirage. Like I said, solid performance across the board. And Dennis, you know, he's on 15 or whatever, but in that round, again, another key frag. In the previous gun round, he picks Tabson. He's always in the right position to catch some of these rotations. It's a good across-the-board performance.
This is what I'm saying, though. You know, you look at Tabson and Xantara's 23 and 16, 26 and 20, respectively, and you think, that's a team that's going to win the map. But then Sprout are really causing problems for them at the moment. Snatchy, has he overcommitted a little bit here? I think so. Traded down at least by Faven, but you wouldn't want to drop it here, Sprout. They have the opportunity, and this is now Big, starting to come into their own.
Actually, the spam through the wall of Hut was giving Tabson a bit of aim punch, which allowed Speedy to finish that off, I think. So that's some nice teamwork. Oh, Tizian, he's tried to pick up the AWP, but he's closed the door on it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now the Molotov on it, Xantaras tries to be a little bit cheeky through that smoke.
Yeah, Sprout going to press the accelerator into the B bomb site, which is a pretty good move. Tizian's still trying to scramble down to get there. He's got his smoke down, but he was actually going to get smoked off by Sprout anyway. He looks like he'll probably get a bomb plant here, but is forced away initially by the incendiary grenade. But bomb plant's down. 3-on-2 here for Sprout. Again, a must-win round, and it's tense.
I think Searson's just saving this AWP. Wants to hold on to that. Tizian's going for damage. Trying to just get a pretty fast shot with that deal. But again, another must-win round for Sprout, which is all of them at the moment. But they are really grinding this back. They were down, what, 14-7, 14-8?
14-8, definitely. I think it was 14-7, yeah.
14-7, that's the round where Big sort of gifted them one. Then they get a double eco out of Big, which they convert. And now, 2 gun rounds in a row and subsequent anti-ecos. And here we are at 14-13.
6 rounds in a row. And if they can get 6 rounds in a row, Pilski, it means they can get 3 rounds in a row. And that's all they need now.
And the thing I like about Sprout at the moment on this T side is that they're not doing any crazy in-depth strat. They're not doing any crazy rush that's catching Big off guard. They're just sticking together, simple utility usage, trading down material and catching rotations. And as long as they can just keep it simple like that and keep trading these players down and finding these angles onto players that are rotating around, they're going to continue having success. I think Searson is pretty consistently be finding big picks though.
That's a nice double nade onto Keto. If they had one more, he'd be a goner. Sprout are going to desperately look to equalize this numbers disadvantage, though. It's been a while since they've had to play a 5-on-4.
Again, Diha trying to just crouch, allow one of his teammates to peek on his head on a bit of an off angle. Sprout trying to find some cheeky things to get back in this round. Still stuck around this lobby area with a minute on the clock. And I think the plan is really here for Sprout to do what they've been doing time and time again. Try to find some of these cheeky angles or just trade down. It's very patient play, but Big recognizes that. They give them nothing, and in the meanwhile, Searson's actually pushing through outside with that AWP, Jordan.
Xantaras is probing, though, and he's have to be careful he doesn't overcommit to this. Snatchy watching the angle with the AWP. Timing is of the essence for both Xantaras and Sprout. Snatchy cops a couple of bullets, but so far, no one else dropping. Only 30 seconds left here, Pilski. So Sprout are going to have to speed things up. Dika looking for the first one. He should know there's a player to his right. Doesn't. Tamsin's got himself a double. The trade eventually comes in from Snatchy, but they're going to have to get into the B bomb site, and already you see Searson on his way down there with the AWP in hand. He is going to be smoked off, but it's going to be incredibly tough to get a bomb plan here. Searson might even send himself through with a flash. He's punished for it. That's the opener, though, for Sprout that they needed. Keto, he goes down in decon, and Tizian has a 1-on-2 to keep Big alive in this round. Snatchy overcommits. Oh, Tizian, he's got the double kill. Can you believe it? In such a critical round, it's going to put Big through to map point.
Oh, so tense. Sprout almost made that happen.
I almost feel like they should have.
That should have been Sprout's round. Yeah. And look, they're still in it. This is just a great setup from Big. Good rotations, and that's all down to what we didn't see, which was on the minimap. Searson actually pushed all the way through outer in that 5-on-4, which let Big into some very, very strong positions. They had that double setup towards ramp that you usually wouldn't have in a late round situation like that. And they had a good rotation timing in towards lower, and it still comes down to a 2-on-1. Sprout is playing so good individually at the moment. They're playing the trade game to perfection, Jordan.
Well, they're going to need to do it perfectly for another couple of rounds, Pilski. They got to get into overtime. Xantaras, he's been a multi-frag machine, but he is quickly put to bed by Snatchy.
There's no one in lower. Faven's towards the back of lobby again, so he's going to try and catch rotations on some of these CTs in the late round. Smoke goes out onto the site. Sprout trying to get this bomb down, but they're not rushing things just yet.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's actually really negated any of the effectiveness of the utility from Big, but again, Searson's found himself one. Tabson with the other AWP is looking to put some good damage in.
The Molotov for Snatchy. Shut him out of things.
That's not too good at all, the bomb plant. To go down shortly here for Sprout. They're all coming from one angle though, Big.
Oh.
Tabson gets the critical kill. It's on to Diha. 1-on-3 to keep Sprout in the round. In the position to do it from, though. He'll get the headshot. No, he's got them all. That's beautiful. Huge from Diha. And Sprout survives.
How has he secured that 1-on-3? Just playing those angles so well. Sprout's going to take a tack timeout, and that's a calm down pause. That's a slow down for a second. We can push this to OT. Take a few extra seconds to just reflect on that round, and also just reflect on where Big's at right now, because their money's actually not great here.
Just felt that was going to happen, though. You see him in that position, pushed forward a little bit, can isolate the one-on-ones. Perfect game awareness from Diha. And Big, well, they got a big clutch to get them to map point, but then a big clutch goes against them.
It's karma, man. That last round shouldn't have been, or the gun round previous, where Tizian gets that 1 and 2. That shouldn't have been Big's round, but it comes back around a massive 3K from D-Hut. And now you're looking at the money on Big. A Scout, limited util, a Nova for Keto. This is a much more winnable round for Sprout.
Now this is the high-pressure, tense situations where mistakes start to creep into the gameplay. They're going to go quickly into ramp. Not something that Sprout have done at all so far on this half, and Xantares surely gets traded down here. He does without too much loss for Big. 1 for 1 there. Acceptable from Sprout's perspective, rather.
The trades are so good here for Sprout, trying to get the bomb down in lower. Again, they're punishing these smoke pushes so well. Now into a 4-on-3, trying to get comfortable on the site.
Grenade does catch Speedy, but Snatchy luckily also able to find himself one posted on a good line with the AWP. Searson, Scout, headshot onto Dennis. Surely not one more, though. Snatchy trades it down. It's another 1-on-2. This time it's Keto, and he's going to have to try and keep it alive. Big can win the round. They can win the map, but they can't do it against Fave. And one-shot headshot, and it's overtime. Sprout, I don't know how they've got through those rounds, but they've done it.
I counted them out the entire half from 7 to 14. And you have to say, initially, Big gave them that gun round and the subsequent 2 save rounds, but Sprout earned that OT. Gun round after gun round after gun round. Clean anti-ecos.
Definitely.
Slow and patient play once things start to get a little bit hectic in that mid-round. They're punishing the rotations. And all things considered, that wasn't anything crazy from Sprout, you know? That's just solid gameplay. No crazy strats. Sure, they had that one massive 1v3, but all things considered, Sprout's just playing a phenomenal trade game here on T side of Nuke.
Yeah, they are. They might have earned overtime, Pilski, but have they earned the map win?
Well, this is where Big, they're not going to have any money woes. They're going to start to be able to switch things up a little bit, and that starts initially now with Xantares on the AWP towards Ramp Room. That's going to be a bit of a different look that Sprout haven't had to deal with yet.
That said, the pressure is on Big. Think about the context of this match. It's ESL One Cologne. And we might see Big dropped into the lower bracket in round 1, 2-0, by Sprout, a team that's not even the top 20.
Off-angle for Xantares is something that Sprout haven't had to contend with just yet, but they're well aware that from time to time, Searson's been aggressive on that orb, looking for picks. So they're well aware that it could be a possibility. Smokes on towards outside. One of them offset by a nicely timed Molotov from Tabson. Gives Big a lot of information in combination with that leg as well as the follow-up nade. Searson in towards elbow, finds an AWP pick as well.
Great work from Xantares and Searson, the double AWP duo. Sprout are going to try and get aggressive there into hell. They're pushing into Searson. They've actually overwhelmed him.
Oh, this is where it starts, Jordan. You can see they've forced that kill out. They've got that trade back, and they're slowing things down. They're waiting for Big to make a mistake. Going to go and retrieve the bomb now, edging towards Megaton.
It's also a nice part of the map for them to control. Look, Dennis is getting a bit of info on Outer.
Yeah, you can see the roles have started to reverse here. Big moving towards that annex lobby area, playing retake on that upper. Attention towards Heaven. But Xantares down in window. He's got a bit of an off angle here. Does hit the leg, but doesn't secure the kill.
Damage is damage, though. 28 seconds. Sprout need to get a bit of a wriggle on. Molly is going to go behind Xantares. Dennis challenges. Deagle comes out. It's a 1 for 1 in the end because Deagle has dropped. But Dennis, he's behind Tabson. 15 seconds, though. I don't see him winning this round from here. Molly goes in. And he's finished off. Big. They start the overtime well.
Xantares as well as Searson, excellent work on those double AWPs to secure the first 2 kills. But even in that 3-on-5, you got to say hats off to Sprout for even just putting the pressure on, forcing those rotations out, getting onto the site a little bit.
Seeing a bit of a tendency for Sprout to try and speed things up now a little bit. 2 rounds in a row, they've gone straight into ramp. They're going to, by the looks of it, do it again. Time there's a smoke in the way, and Xantaras will hide behind it. Spray, but nothing considerable.
Ooh, the
connected yet.
nades.
Oh,
They almost killed Diha straight away with those nades.
yep.
Well, now you're seeing Sprout starting to reposition up towards that lobby roof. They might be going for a bit of a mid-round hit in towards upper here with some utility. There's actually a little bit of util there for Xantaras, up close towards radio. He's got a pretty forward position. Still some smoke grenades and molotovs in upper starting to be burned through by Big in the mid-round. There's that outer wall of smoke for Sprout. So look, what's the reaction here from the CT side? No one's rotating in towards that lower bomb site. Only now Tabson actually falls from heaven down towards ladder base, but it's going to be an annex split, it seems.
CSGO fires a shot. That's really nice from Speedy. Just walks out of the smoke and bangs him out of the server. Proud have found another one as well. It's 3-on-4 at the moment. Molly's going to force Keto out of his position, but he's still good enough to win the one-on-one with Snatchy. Not so against Speedy, however. 28 seconds. Sprout are wondering, where's Tabson coming from? It's a 3-on-1, but he's making noise. Position given away. Speedy, what a round. 3 kills. And Sprout equalized 16 apiece.
That's just fantastic. The wall of smoke on outer forces Tabson in toward lower. And he's just taken out of that entire round, and then Sprout just head into that upper bomb site and go for an annex split. They find those 2 timings to be able to get the entries, and then they just trade things down. Simple, but really effective. Atkinson, their first T-side round here. Big really want to be able to try to get 2, because their T-side is very, very strong. That's a good start from Searson. Again, showing prowess on finding those openers. That's where Big found success in the first round of OT.
Might get traded back down. Dennis! Oh. How's he hit that? Searson gets rid of him, but geez, Manise. Don't really know what to say about that one.
Oh, that's a really nice HE from Xantaras, though. Making these Ts a little bit more squishy.
Getting a lot of value out of the HEs in this position in overtime. Have to do it with the M4 this time. Bit of a messy spray in the end from Xantaras, but at least Searson is there to keep the numbers favorable for Big. Speedy continues to get work done, though. And it's back to 2-on-2.
They just keep finding these picks, man. Now Keto's going for a bit of a push. That might be very nicely timed, actually, slipping into Squeaky.
Smoke and a flash for Faven to play with, however.
Look, they're just anticipating it already. They clear that. Immediately, they walk into upper and they go, hey, hang on, there's no one here.
That's German efficiency, mate.
Go and double check, clear out those angles.
Searson
now the
in a
walk through to
one-on-one.
heaven from Speedy.
How does Searson win this if Speedy gets into heaven? Surely not a chance. He has to also find Faven, and he's got a long way to travel to do that. Bomb is ticking away pretty quickly. There's a defuse kit for Searson, so he's got himself an extra 5 seconds to play with, but this is unbelievable. The timing for Sprout is so good. They've inadvertently just won the round. Searson is not going to get the defuse here at all. That is fantastic from Sprout. 17-16, and they are in the lead heading into the second round of overtime.
And another time from a man disadvantaged situation, Jordan, they make that work. Just clearing out all the angles. They punish Tizian, who's getting a little active in that 3-on-2. And then they just dot their I's and cross their T's once they make onto that upper bomb site. They're having a look around for Keto, who's usually that hut, that uppers player. When they can't find him, they just double back. They make sure they clear out Squeaky. And then they go for the high percentage in the 2-on-1, wrapping through to heaven.
Yep.
Massive. Oh, Sprout. They've got their work cut out for them here because, look, Big, this is their strongest side of the 2, but Sprout have a real opportunity to turn around a 7-14 disadvantage.
Who is the pressure on at the moment?
I think it's Big.
I think the pressure's on Big. Best team in the
100%.
world coming into ESL One Cologne. Chance to get knocked down in the lower
They're
bracket.
playing like it, though. Look at, like, Searson is the most aggressive of Big at the moment. But the rest of Big, they're not re-peaking things. They're not aggressively taking these aim duels. I don't think I've ever seen Xantaras cake a spray in his life until a couple of rounds ago.
Well, Snatchy, he started fantastically for Sprout. That is huge. And Big are left reeling after that.
How do they claw things back from this 3-on-5? This could give Sprout match point at the moment. All are Big centralized around this outside position. Smoke through to Annex. They're going to try and make their way in towards that ladder base area. But they've heard the drop, Sprout. Dennis is getting active. Snatchy's already over there.
Oh, double kill for Big. Does bring it back just a little bit. Xantaras and Tizian, they might still be able to make this happen. They've got plenty of time to play with. Dennis quickly running into ramp room, but it's back toward A that Big go.
This would be such a massive round for Big to win. To just turn around the momentum the way that this game's going. Uppers bomb site left entirely open. It's actually going to be a double play towards Heaven here. Spiddy's going to come from this rafter area and one up the ladder from Dennis.
Quickly into the upper area. Tizian drops Spiddy. He's going to stay up here on rafter, but he doesn't even need to do anything. Dennis has won the round for Sprout. And again, it's just the rotations, mid-round, late round even, from Sprout, and they've bamboozled Big. 18-16. 1 round away from Sprout completing the upset. 2-0 again over Big. I don't really know what to say about this one. It's a great way to start ESL One Cologne. Maybe not for Big, but for the viewers, for the fans, and for the storylines. Seeing Big go down into the lower bracket this early on in the piece. Unbelievable. But you're going to have to believe it if Sprout get one more round.
All right, backs against the wall here, Big. They're a very, very good T-side Nuke team. What is the strat that you pull out when your opponent's on match point in OT? You've got access to all the utility you could possibly want.
I mean, to be honest, Sprout started that round with 2 picks courtesy of Snatchy, and it still went down to a 2-on-2. So let's not count Big out just yet. They're looking for double OT. This will be a push from Snatchy by the looks of things, but it does just slow things down, maybe. Dennis! I don't know what I'm watching!
Where has that come from? Searson, he's trying to complete a 1v4 now. You can see Sprout, they're closing in all around him, Jordan.
That is disgusting! Searson's done! So is Big! That's the 2-0.